History often forces us to remember the Abbasid Caliphate as nothing more than a religious empire. Whenever the Abbasids are mentioned, images of mosques, caliphs, and ancient books immediately come to mind. It feels as if this was a world limited only to worship, scholars, and knowledge. But if you look at the Abbasids only through this lens, you completely miss one of the most powerful and world-changing stories in human history. Because the Abbasids were not just an empire, they were, in reality, the world's first true global system. It was a system where ideas, money, science, technology, and people moved so fast that for that era, it felt almost magical. Today, we talk about the internet and globalization, but 1,200 years ago, the Abbasids had already achieved something very similar. And like every system that grows too fast, it also carried a hidden danger. In the end, this powerful system collapsed under the weight of its own success. Now imagine the world of the 8th century. Europe was drowning in darkness. The Roman Empire had collapsed, roads between cities were destroyed, and long-distance trade had almost disappeared. Most people never traveled beyond their local surroundings in their entire lives. China was advanced but isolated, closed within its own world. India was incredibly rich, but its wealth mostly stayed within the region. Africa had immense resources, but there was no safe and reliable system to access them. The world was not connected. Every civilization stood alone. Then history turned a new page. A city was built, Baghdad, and this was no ordinary city. It wasn't built just for people to live in, it was designed so that the world could come together in one place. When the Abbasid Caliph al-Mansur founded Baghdad, he didn't just create a capital, he engineered an entire system. The city was circular in shape, known as the Round City. At its center sat the Caliph, surrounded by administration, markets, scholars, and traders. Every road led toward the center, meaning power, wealth, and knowledge all converged in one place. None of this was accidental. It was deliberate economic and political engineering. The Abbasids understood one crucial truth very early. Swords can conquer land, but knowledge can conquer the world. That is why their greatest investment was not in armies, but in intellect. They launched the largest intellectual project of the ancient world, the Beit al-Hikmah, the House of Wisdom. Here, Greek philosophy was translated. The ideas of Aristotle and Plato entered the Islamic world. Indian mathematics arrived. Persian astronomy and science merged into a single stream. This was not just translation, it was the fusion of civilizations. The concept of zero traveled from here to Europe. Algebra was born here. Medical textbooks were written that would be taught in European universities for over 500 years. Surgery, optics, chemistry, these fields advanced from this very system. The Abbasids didn't just preserve knowledge, they upgraded it. And because of this, their empire was not only powerful, but intelligent. During this period, the Abbasid Caliphate gradually became the center of the world. Silk came from China, spices and cotton from India. And from here, another silent revolution began, the financial revolution. Today, many believe banking was invented in Europe. History tells a different story. During the Abbasid era, checks, known as sak, were already in use. Credit systems existed. International contracts were written and enforced. A merchant could deposit money in Baghdad and withdraw it in Cairo, Damascus, or Samarkand without carrying physical gold. The entire system ran on trust, and where trust exists, economic growth follows naturally. But as the empire expanded, the size of the government expanded with it. More soldiers were needed, more officials, more palaces, more luxury. And then an old problem returned. Expenses kept rising, while income fell behind. Raising taxes became difficult, as people were already under pressure. So the Abbasid rulers took a dangerous shortcut. They began to debase the currency. Gold coins contained less gold.
Silver coins contained less silver. On the outside, the coins looked the same, but their real value slowly disappeared. Ordinary people didn't notice immediately, but markets always know the truth. Prices began to rise, first quietly, then painfully. Soldiers' salaries stayed the same, but bread grew more expensive. Merchants started hiding gold and real assets. Trade slowed down. The first cracks in trust had appeared. Then another crisis struck: political chaos. Civil wars erupted. Every new caliph needed more money. Every faction wanted its own army. The currency weakened further. Markets grew nervous. Instability spread across Central Asia, making the Silk Road unsafe. The very thing that had once been the Abbasids' greatest strength became their greatest weakness. When trade stopped, the economy stopped. By the 10th century, provinces began breaking away. Tax collection collapsed. Army loyalty was bought with money. Baghdad still stood as a city, but the system inside it was already dead. When the Mongols arrived in 1258, they were not just attacking a city, they were destroying a world system that had already collapsed from within. A city fell, but in reality, an entire world order came to an end. Yet, the Abbasids' greatest achievement was not their fall, it was their legacy. They taught the world how to connect. They globalized knowledge. They systemized trade. They connected economies. The European Renaissance, directly or indirectly, was born from the Abbasid system. The roots of modern science, banking, and globalization all lead back here. In the end, history teaches us a simple but dangerous truth. Empires are not run by swords, they are run by systems. And when a system loses trust, everything collapses, whether it is Abbasid, Mongol, or the modern world.